Well, hey guys, it's Dr. Drake 63 here today, and got a couple classic style rifles. One is actually an oldie but a goodie, the M1 Garand. And this is a design that was popular with the U.S. military in production and service, if you will, from 1937 to about 1957, and serving other armies. But we're here to talk about this pig sticker that's on top of it. And we're going to compare it to, I'll call this a classic design. This is a new production or newer production model. This is an M4 version. And this also has a bayonet on it, which you don't normally see when you think about the AR-15, the M4, the M16, and what other variations of this rifle. But if you look closely at it, all of the fixed front sight models have that lug for the bayonet. This is a new bayonet. Quality-wise, I can't speak to it too much. These were meant to stick somebody more than anything else. Like I said, when you see these rifles today, you really don't see these dressed with a bayonet that much. I'd probably never think about it. I just thought it was kind of a novelty more than anything else. And of course, with this M1 Garand, you absolutely would think of it. Now, this particular knife's been around a while. And this is one that if you want to get one of these, especially in good condition, you're going to pay a pretty penny for. Now, I bought this. It's a Union fork and hoe. Keep your jokes to yourself. But this was a 10-inch model that was made to be a 10-inch model. The M5, I think they call this model the M7. But I picked this up at an Army surplus store, and what they did with a lot of these bayonets is they had the older 16-inch versions that they cut down. And so this channel here, which is called the blood channel, would run all the way to the tip. But you can tell this one was manufactured specifically for this purpose, probably in 1942-43. The scabbard I have for it is also an older classic style, okay? But the sheath itself is a replacement. So if you were to get this particular bayonet and this particular scabbard in original condition, you'd be talking upwards of $200, maybe $250, believe it or not. And as we talked about in prior videos, there's some wiggle room with this, okay? And that's actually by design. You get a bunch of dirt down in the channel where the lug that this goes over, or up around the barrel, and you need to get this on and off. You don't have time to play games. And you also, if it's too tight to your barrel as it heats up, which they certainly do, it's going to mess up your harmonics greatly. So purposely loose. And even something that's brand new bayonet, brand new gun, you're going to see it's got a little bit of wobble as well. And that's by design. If you put something tight on the end of your barrel, those of you that understand harmonics and things of that nature, you'll get it. So, you know, on the left, World War II, this is made in probably 1941, 42, something like that. On the right, new manufactured, $150 for just that bayonet. And I got this via Midway USA, and I want to say that cost me with shipping around about $50. And that comes with a nice scabbard. We'll take a look at that stuff in a second. As I mentioned, you're not used to seeing this M4 style rifle with a bayonet. It's just not something that you typically will see. You don't think of the battles that this firearm has been involved with. You don't think of that in terms of bayonet. Sure, it happened. We know that they went to fix bayonets in Vietnam and things like that, but you just really don't think of that as much. You do think about this beauty in terms of the bayonet quite a bit, though. It's just something you think about. Think about jumping into a trench and using bayonets. Now, personally, I would much rather not be that close to an enemy combatant. But if you're out of ammo, or it's for some reason need to be involved in some kind of a charge or something along that line where you need to use a bayonet, well, there you go. I can imagine just how scary it would be to be a soldier and you're fixing bayonets because you're expecting that type of a fight. That seems pretty scary to me. And all my respect goes to definitely goes to the guys that were involved in those kind of battles. Now, if you're going to put this on your M4 platform, there's a couple things to know. This is a mid-length gas system. And what you'll find is the rifle length gas system, i.e. the original 20-inch ARs, and the mid-lengths have the same distance between the bottom of this front sight post and where your flash hider is. So if you want to use a carbine length system, it's going to be a longer barrel. It's going to go back to about here, and in order to use a bayonet, you have to get an extension, which isn't all that appealing to me. So just point that out. If you don't have a mid-length or a rifle length gas system on your AR, you are not going to be able to use this M7 bayonet. How it attaches, these are spring loaded, and they're what holds the rifle, or holds the bayonet to the rifle, and then it slides right off. This front part goes right over your flash hider. So not a lot to it at all. Whereas you'd probably be more likely to be in this kind of stance. And the thing about it is all of a sudden the lightweight aspect and the smaller size of an M4 with an adjustable buttstock, I don't think is a real big advantage for a bayonet. Not when you can have something like the M1 that is longer. It has a forward hand grip, which is pretty much ideal for grabbing this. A solid butt, so it's heavier, quite a bit heavier, probably close to twice as heavy, and with a longer blade to boot. So if I'm going to be doing fighting that involves a bayonet, I think I most definitely am going to have to go with the old school versus the new school in terms of the rifle platform. Okay, so there's lots of information out there about the various types, the various versions, who makes what, costs, all that kind of stuff when it comes to bayonets. I'm not even attempting to make that kind of video here. This isn't meant to be definitive or anything. These are things that I'm clearly not going to use. I take these rifles to the range, the bayonets stay at home. But I thought it would be cool to just kind of show you, hey, when both of these platforms were designed, the primary use was, of course, to shoot bullets, to take down enemy combatants at long range. In the case of that rifle on the left, the M1, you're talking about a 30-06. 800 yards is not unthinkable at all. The one on the right, you know, I'd say good out to 350, 400 yards with a 55 grain bullet, but probably not quite so much in the later version with the AR versions. But here we go, you know, military rifles. I could definitely see that I would not want to be on the receiving end of that. In fact, I think I'd probably rather get shot than stabbed, but that's just me. That's just me. Anyway, this is Dr. Drake 63. I want to thank you for watching today. Just having a little bit of fun with bayonets. See you next time.